This is a DABAN model 9913.
Let me remove that real quick. This is an incredibly solid third-party Optimus Prime figure from the IDW comics.
First, let's take a look at the box art.
The box art for this is absolutely stellar. It has a very anime mech style aesthetic to it.
Here is a closer look at that. The amount of detail on the box art is really great. You have his little ion blaster there as well.
Looks like they gave him some thrusters.
And overall, the box art on this is just really nice looking. But the figure doesn't exactly look like this. Now over here on the back, that is what the figure actually looks like.
Maybe a little disappointing compared to the box art,
but honestly, this figure is really great. And there you have him in his vehicle mode. Now let's open it up. And here is the figure. Also looks like some of the red got onto the plastic in the container. Now onto the main figure.
Now just like the IDW comics, he is reminiscent of the classic G1 look. He's got a dark red and blue color scheme with some silver on there, but that's just stating the obvious. Talk about being an in-depth toy reviewer. Please subscribe. Now this third-party figure feels really solid, and that's mostly due to the figure having die-cast parts which are down at the feet over here. Let's make sure to flip these out, and now we can post these on WikiFeed.
Nice. And let's move that out of the way. So the entire feet here are made of die-cast metal, and you can see some chipping going on there.
And I've only ever taken this figure out of the packaging a few times so I could mess around with it and transform it so I could prepare for the review.
And overall, this figure does kind of have this anime aesthetic to it. Like these shoulder pads are very Gundam-esque. Now let's take a closer look starting at the head sculpt. It is a nice head sculpt of Optimus Prime.
Something else that's nice is you leaving a like on the video. Now the eyes are a little bit too small and they're very dark, which makes him look kind of, dead.
He does have light piping on the back here, but to be honest, it doesn't really work too well. Could be something later on down the line that I try to unscrew and paint so he looks more lively.
Or will I? I probably won't.
But the rest of the head sculpt honestly looks really good. The silver on it looks really nice. The blues look great. It's got that giant thing on his forehead there. You have his antennas on the side and his iconic mouthpiece. Here is the chest area. Over here you can see those truck light details, some windshield wipers, and this can open up, but this figure doesn't come with any sort of matrix of leadership. It really just opens out for the transformation so that the head can go in. And the transformation on this figure is very interesting.
It feels much different than transforming a Hasbro or Takara figure, which might be kind of obvious since it's a third-party figure. Now a closer look at the abdomen area. It is a silver faux grill piece.
Here's a closer look at his arms. There's some panel working on the shoulders over there, and a little bit on the arms. The pelvic piece on this is super bulky, just the way I like it. Nice! And is it me, or does the pelvic area kind of look like...
Now down to the legs, the thigh pieces are in nice silver as well.
And these parts of the legs do have some detail on them. There's a bit of mechanical detail right there. You have some silver bits over here. You got the obvious silver over here. A bit of gray at the kneecaps. And then underneath these, you got the wheels. Here's a look at the back of the figure. This part right over here covers the front of the truck mode. And he has 4 wheels on each leg, but only 3 of them move. These ones right here on the bottom inner side aren't able to move. Height-wise, he stands just a little bit over 6 inches. Now for some comparisons with other figures. Here he is next to Combat Commander, a bootleg of a third-party figure, and I did do a review on that guy. Here he is next to Siege Optimus. He is a bit smaller. Here he is next to the Flame Toys model kit. Now this one actually has some very heavy anime inspiration. And here he is next to another comic book version of Optimus Prime. And this is the Galaxy Upgrade version of Optimus in his core mode.
I don't like the way this looks.
Here he is next to Siege Megatron. And here he is next to Deluxe Class Studio Series Bumblebee. I feel like the height difference between these two is more accurate. Now for the articulation on this figure. The head is on a ball joint, so it can look up and down. It can move side to side. It can also spin all the way around. As said before, these chest pieces can open, but for the transformation, not a matrix. Now the arms are on a hinge joint, allowing it to move back and forward. His arms can spin all the way around.
Now move this out of the way so you can bring his arm up. It goes that high.
The bicep has rotation, and you get an elbow bend. You do get kind of an ab crunch here. And to rotate the waist, you need to keep this up, and then you can spin it around. Because this peg right over here goes into that hole, and if it's like that, you won't be able to turn the waist. And do be careful when spinning the waist if you have it like this, because you don't want this to hit up against the figure.
You wouldn't want to break your figure now, would you? Also, this will just disconnect sometimes. The chest piece also moves up and down, so you gotta make sure it's down, and then you can peg it in.
It is pegging time.
The arms can move. These are legs. The legs can move out to the side. You can bring them forward, and they are on a ratchet joint.
You can bring it back all the way there.
You can spin it around over here.
And there is no rotation at the thighs. It looks like there could be one there, but there isn't. Trust me.
The figure also has a knee bend. The kneecaps can't move, and this foot can move in and out, more so for the transformation.
And the feet have a side-to-side pivot. This is probably one of the best versions of IDW Optimus out there that can actually transform. There is a Generation Toy IDW Optimus, but that's going to be a difficult and pricey find.
It is surprising Hasbro hasn't made an IDW version of Optimus that looks this good.
They're really sleeping on it there. Just like how I sleep and then I wake up and then I sleep again. Now for accessories, he comes with one ion blaster, and here's a look at that.
And yeah, it definitely does look like an ion blaster. It's pretty much just a glossy solid black color. It does have a considerable amount of detail on it. Other side looks the same.
He can easily hold his ion blaster in either one of his hands, and the connection is pretty solid. It's not falling out anytime. Unlike me, who's falling out of my sanity.
And his hands are 5mm compatible, so he can hold other accessories. And to make this figure a bit more accurate to IDW Optimus, you can bring these on the arms out and have them bent like that, and same on the legs on both sides, and like that. He is a bit more accurate. Personally, I prefer to keep him flat and all the way in. And if you're also going to be holding around and messing with the figure, you're probably going to accidentally bring him in sometimes, so I'm just going to leave him in like that.
Now let's move on to the weird and unusual transformation of this figure. Also, a thing to note is that this figure does come with instructions, but they are from vehicle mode to robot mode and not robot mode to vehicle mode, and this figure comes in robot mode. So am I expected to just follow them backwards? Like, what am I, the boss baby? I'm not that smart. Luckily, I just watched a video though.
I do recommend using some tools to transform this figure, because once you have certain things in places, it's kind of hard to get them out.
We're gonna start by folding both the feet back into the figure. Now over here, you need to bring this panel up so you can bring the hand back in. So bring both of the hands back in there, and if you want to take the hands back out for robot mode, you're definitely gonna need a tool. You'll need like a tweezer or something so you can carefully take the hands back out. It's a very flawed design.
Now the next thing you want to do is bring out the hands to the side, and you want to bring these shoulder pieces down here.
Then twist the arm around and bring it up so it goes into the shoulders. Slide these panels up.
It's easier to bring this up first and then slide it up, so that way you can tab them in properly.
Same on the other arm. Now we need to detach the waist from the body of the figure. You need to slide the front of the truck down just like that. And now you can bring out the front wheels, and they're supposed to tab in place over here, but I'm having a bit of difficulty doing that on my copy of the figure. But just like paying your taxes, it's not really a big deal, and you don't have to do it right. That's a joke, IRS. Please don't come after me. Please, I swear. And now you want to rotate the head down in there, and just be careful because this gray piece might catch on other pieces, just like how the zipper of your fly might catch onto you if you're not careful, and you definitely don't want to break it.
Just like how it is now over here, it caught onto that piece of the truck. Just move it out of the way a little bit,
so you can bring it all the way up, allowing you to bring the head in all the way.
This chest piece here can move up and down, so make sure it's up when you're transforming, so you can turn it around.
Close in the chest piece to form the front of the truck. Make sure it's tabbed in all the way, and then you can push down on the top.
Now we can bring the arms out into the side. And then while you're transforming, this piece will tab into these little notches over here. It'll just happen while you're transforming, but if it doesn't, make sure it is in there. So make sure everything here is aligned properly. And now we can bring these out and up. Same on this side, out and up.
So now all you really need to do is align things up so they go in properly. You'll have to fiddle with things and move it around so everything gets in place properly. And once you do get everything in place, you just need to bring this back piece of the truck in. Also, make sure the side of the truck lines up with these pegs here. Now just connect the legs together.
And there is the truck mode of this figure.
It is a really nice truck mode, and because it's a third-party figure, you might have some trouble getting all the pieces to tab into place properly, but it's not too hard to fix.
The front looks very clean, it's very flat. The side profile of the truck looks great. It's got the white stripes on there.
And it looks like there's some details for a door here. And hey, I adore you. I'm sorry.
There's some panel work at the bottom of the truck here. The wheels have a nice silver rim to them. And like I said earlier, only 3 of them on each side move for some reason. And here's a look at the bottom of the truck. It looks very clean. Here's a look at the back. Once again, you have the thing with Optimus where the feet are the back of the truck. And it does seem kind of obvious. It's like that with all figures pretty much.
You can tell that these are legs and not an actual truck bed.
Now another look at the front. You have the grill over here, the headlights, the bumper, all painted silver. Like I said earlier, I wasn't able to get this in all the way for some reason, but it doesn't really matter. The figure can still roll pretty well. Now, there is no truck bed for this figure.
You do have this little slot over here, which is for weapon storage, and you just kind of shove this in there, and then tab these pieces together, and then close the sides, and it just holds in place with friction. And the grip on it is pretty tight. This is a really solid figure, especially for the price point. There'll be a link in the description below if you want to buy this figure. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of these videos over here, and a big thank you to all my patrons who support me on Patreon for only $1 a month.